This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals.
Because I think almost every single person in the world will excel if they're in their right seat. But how do you guys find the right people and match them to that right role?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're still every day getting better at that process, but predictive index, PI, we have everyone do the PI behavioral and the COG. We want to know what you're going to look like in terms of how quick can you process information. What behavioral traits are you going to possess that are going to be more applicable to being an acquisition rep, lead manager, a disposition rep, a sales manager? What's your past experience? I like to also know a lot about people's struggles in life. Did you go through some kind of serious adversity, mental, physical, emotional? We've had guys in our office that are recovering from drugs. They had lost a family member. There was some kind of catastrophic tragedy that took place, but it has changed their mindset to then focus on being that greater version of themselves. So we always see that if you can go through the trenches, you could be a good fit. We also like athletes. So, I played hockey, Bob played hockey, our top acquisition rep played 12 years professional hockey. We've just found that athletes and hockey players especially, they have a certain, mental drive, a bite, or as we call it, fuck you. They play with that fuck you and they bring the jam every day. Because, we're in a mentally challenging business. You got to be a mental savage to be great. You're competing with companies every day. Other investors are looking to get the same deals you're going after. So, it's kind of a collaboration of all those items, but having people that can come in here with that whatever it takes mentality tend to succeed. Because if they're not good at first, they're going to be good. They're going to put in the extra hours. They're going to show up on the weekend. They're going to make the dials on Sunday. And that little compounding effect week over week is what makes that person great compared to the guy with all the talent, but zero drive and work ethic.
Yeah, and that's so true too. Like you can't train or buy drive. Like people are driven or they're not,
Yeah, it's a characteristic trait. Some guys, either you have it or you don't, and there's got to be that innate internal fire, right? You just have to have that killer instinct to say, this is what I want, and I'm going to get it, and there's nothing that's going to stop me. And you just have to make sure that when that's said, you are still chasing that far after the moment and the emotion in which you were feeling at that time when it was said. It's people like, I'm going to go, new year, new me. I'm going to go to the gym, and 2.5 weeks go by in January, and I couldn't make the gym because, I got stuck at work. Like, that's not an excuse. You said you wanted something, go get it.
Yep, and I hear you there. Explain a little bit about predictive index, because that's important. A lot of people might not know what that is.
Yeah, and I'm not an expert when it comes to PI, but predictive index is a hiring tool to understand people's behaviors and what their strengths and weaknesses are, especially on how those particular traits are going to apply to the role that you're hiring. So, we have built out those different types of profiles for an acquisition manager, an acquisition rep, a sales manager, a disposition rep, a lead manager, our COO. And we brought in Sharper, so Gary Harper and his team. We've had Austin McCurdy recently come in for our quarterly. And each and every time those guys come in our office, we learn so much. We learned a ton from Austin on PI, how to better understand how each trait is applicable, right? If you're a driver, where's your A need to be for an acquisition role? Where should your B be? Where should your C be? Is there a corporate hook? Why is someone who's a corporate hook going to be a better fit for the acquisition role? Why is a captain going to be a better fit than altruist in that position? And there's a lot of it that goes into it. I'm still learning, but just being able to better, identify those skills, it makes more sense when it's time to hire these folks, because you're no longer playing the guessing game of I think they may be a good fit. Well, they seem motivated. You can really base your hiring and firing on, all right, is this person going to be probable to success in this seat? A, B, C, D tells me yes, or A, B, C, D tells me no, and we can move on. Most importantly, we're going to be able to save our time, right? You could spend so much time on a bad candidate. Let's just, hey, you're not a fit. Thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, I look at it too. Like initially when I got into real estate, I was doing my own property management, right? And I'd let people talk me into renting to them. And then I'd get burnt. And then I go to property manager, and now it's just a piece of paper. They say, okay, here's the numbers, pass or no. And I look at it same on this side too. When you're hiring, if you have people do predictive index before you even talk to them, you can segment your list and cut 80% of the people out that it'll just tell you, hey, they're not a fit for this role, you know? And then you've just interviewed the last 10%.
Right. And we recently brought on a recruiter, and he's been doing a great job. So he now handles all of that, and we have him going through the PI training. So what's good about it is he can just vet that individual out immediately when they put in an application. Is this person even worth getting on a 5 to 15-minute phone call? No? Okay, great. And you can then cut right to the chase. Okay, these are the 3 to 4 candidates. So, you know, you may say, all right, well, you're going to lose out on potentials you don't talk to, and people tend to think there's going to be less leads that come in for candidates, but it's not true, because those candidates that you identify actually are going to save you time and allow you to know who is that exact target that you're going after.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, and anyone listening, check out I think it's predictiveindex.com. Check it out. All right, so Adam, you guys started out, did 247 deals last year. Like, what are you doing to get these deals? Like, 247 is a lot. That's like 4 or 5 deals a week. Most people don't get to that level, you know?
We're getting really dialed in on, like we said, that one thing. What do we want to do? End of 21, we had started selling off our portfolio. Bob and I had about 35 doors, got rid of everything. You know, him and I don't own anything together. I have a handful of rentals myself, but it was, you know, where do we want to go? What does our 10-year goal look like? What does this company look like? And get really clear on, you know, what is our people count? What does technology look like? What do markets look like? What does our acquisition process look like? So everything had to get very fine-tuned to there's clarity on each and every part and facet of the business. For us last year, we got really dialed in on lead channels, right? We were running cold call and text. We're fortunate that Bob's virtual assistant company, Revo Global, does a great job for us, and we have that in our back pocket. So we could tinker, we can redirect markets, we can try different pitches with the VAs or having different conversations. We can audit those calls. We control we control everything in that process. And then we've always found mail to be old faithful. We send out a good amount of mail, 60, 70,000 pieces a month. And from there, our acquisition team take those leads. And as of recent, what's going to help us this year to continue to grow that count is your team. So motivated leads. Since getting going with you guys 2 weeks ago, and just taking a step back, I'm not one to promote something unless we use it. You know, I don't want to bullshit people. It's just, let's talk real here. Since getting going with you guys 2.5 weeks ago, we've done 8 contracts. And there's something to be said about it, because we've done PPC in the past and didn't have the best experience. So, you know, for working with you guys, we approve the leads. I know our acquisition reps are very happy. The level of motivation and how quick someone is to saying they want to sell, it's a refresher, because our guys are used to having to really dig in and work deep on a cold call or a text message or a mail piece. They're not 1-2 call closes. So when you get into these PPC leads, that's really been really pivotal for our team. So yeah, I think that's going to help us a lot, go from that 247 to continue to grow upward and onward as we go on.